little bit of information kind of swirling around about the capabilities of the different boxes.
Yeah,
and,
we
and
should
stuff
talk
like
about that and try to clarify some stuff.
So it seems like I guess it was Rod Ferguson confirmed to Polygon that the Xbox One S would actually be slightly more powerful than a base level Xbox One.
Yeah, let me talk about
that by design? Or?
Well, so what happens when, even on the original Xbox One that we shipped, over the life of it, we will upgrade different components in the box,
right?
Because it's like availability or the manufacturers of the drives or something that will give us a new model and we'll put it in
cheaper to build or a
something
little bit better,
like that.
easier
So
to
bandwidth
source.
on things on any of the generations of our console can go up and down a little bit. I'll say Xbox One S was designed. Let me put HDR kind of over here.
Yeah.
But Xbox One S was designed to run your Xbox One games the same way your original Xbox does.
Yeah.
I think what Rod was talking about specific to Gears, there's some things that happen that actually make his Gears the Gears build like right now, run a little better on Xbox One S than on Xbox One. We're not done with the game when it lands. Yeah. The thing I want to make clear to people is they shouldn't buy an Xbox One S thinking it's going to run Xbox One games faster.
Right.
Because we didn't design it to do that. Mm-hmm. It is an Xbox One S. There are marginal differences in all the hardware, but it's an Xbox One. And it's Xbox One. That's how it runs the games. Now we have HDR. So it will support high dynamic range for 1K games, if I want to call them Xbox One games.
Right.
And you'll get that in Gears, you'll get that in Scalebound, you'll get that in Forza Horizon. So it actually does run the games from that perspective a little better. If you don't have an HDR TV, you obviously won't see that.
Sure.
So, but I don't want anybody thinking the Xbox One S is some kind of performance improvement over the Xbox One, because it really wasn't designed to do that.
Okay. But Project Scorpio that's when we get into teraflops. That's when we get into going over the top and saying, let's put out the most powerful console on the block.
Yeah. We, as I've shared in different places, we've been doing more work on PC, and we recently shipped Forza Motorsport Apex.
Right.
6 Apex on PC running at 4K. And we've been looking at what it takes to run these games at 4K on PC, and we wanted to bring that capability to console. And as we were looking at the device capability you need, it was really 6 teraflops that we had to go hit in order to hit real high resolution, high fidelity VR or high fidelity 4K experiences. I'll get to VR in a second.
Yeah.
And so that we designed a spec around 6 teraflops. We looked at what we could get done this year, whether we could actually hit that spec with a hardware refresh this year. We couldn't. So instead of putting out something less than 6 teraflops this year, because 4K I think really is the next step between the HD that we have now and the next step.
Those TVs are not much more expensive than
exactly right.
any other 1080 TV.
Yeah,
you know?
So we designed around 6 teraflops. It was interesting. As we were doing that, we started talking to people like Todd Howard, who you saw in our video around the announce of Scorpio, around VR, and really what they needed to bring the console-like experience you get in a game like Fallout to VR. And 6 teraflops, we made some slight changes in terms of memory bandwidth and stuff to make sure that we were also a great platform for high-fidelity VR experiences that a console player would expect. So, and I want to clarify one thing, because this is something I said yesterday around if you don't have a 4K TV, what do you do with Scorpio? To me, this is really around our motivation. Our motivation with Project Scorpio was with 4K coming, as you said, you see the TVs out there. We designed this console for that. And if you've got a 1K TV, and if you already have an Xbox One, that's what I said, don't go buy an Xbox One S thinking your games are going to play better. It's not for, if you like the design or you want the 4K streaming, great. HDR, great. But I'm not trying to upgrade you there. Scorpio is more powerful than the original Xbox, 4.5 times. And the 6 teraflops actually will obviously impact the games and the way they play.
Upcoming games. This isn't necessarily like, you're not going to like suddenly get better performance out of any disc you put in the system.
It's a great question. If you look at a game like Halo 5 implements something called dynamic scaling. So as scenes get more complex, in order to maintain 60 frames per second, they will actually change the resolution that you're running at. And they're not the only game that does this.
Right.
So then if you run that game on Project Scorpio, you're actually going to be at the max frame rate of that game more often. So and now, again, I'm not going to put that as a top selling feature of Scorpio, because it's not all games use dynamic scaling. I'm trying to be transparent with people about where we are in the design of Project Scorpio and what it was designed for. It was designed in order to enable these high-fidelity 4K experiences. So some of the existing games will actually run a little better if they're using dynamic scaling. But I wouldn't buy Scorpio to run your existing library of Xbox One games.
Get a little bit more performance out of Halo 5 is probably not a
I wouldn't suggest somebody does that. And then I got the question, well, if you have a HD TV and you don't have a 4K TV, should you go buy Project Scorpio? And I guess some people will do that, and obviously Scorpio is going to be running the 6 teraflop version of a game.
Right.
And that version of a game, even when downsampled to HD, will look different than the game running at 1080p.
Right.
But I still think of the complete Scorpio experience as somebody that has a 4K TV with Scorpio plugged into it. To take Scorpio and then plug it into an HD TV, to me, feels like you're taking a 4K frame buffer and down-resing it to show it on your TV. And the box will have downsampling. Like, it will obviously show up on an HD TV. But the real design point for us, the motivation behind Scorpio, was 4K gaming, 6 teraflops. Some developers will take advantage of that 6 teraflops in different ways, but that was really the design point for Project Scorpio, and the reaction of the dev community and, frankly, the fans here at E3 has been fantastic.
That's actually something that I was curious about when you talk about 4K being the emphasis of that thing. But will there be any mandate coming out of Microsoft toward developers saying, like, you guys should really focus on 4K here? Or is it carte blanche for them to pursue that?
Like if they want to just have a 1K frame buffer and then up-res to 4K and take advantage of
use that
power in a different way.
In other ways,
We'll absolutely be open to that. I mean, we're going to talk more specifics about Project Scorpio, so we'll get into more of the details. But I think creative freedom and how you want to use the power of the box is something that I always support. I came from first party, as you guys know, so. Putting the right tools in the hands of the creators, the best creators, is our job as the platform. One thing, though, that we should make sure everybody understands, every game that comes out in the Xbox One family will run on the original Xbox One S, and Scorpio. So we have had some questions, are there going to be Scorpio exclusive games?
Right.
No. The line of games you're going to get to play is the same, regardless of which one of the Xbox One S
and it's
console
not
games.
It's not two SKUs. It's not two separate downloads. Is it? Is it kind of just the same package will just run on everything?
Yeah, and again, we'll go through more details on this stuff as we get further along. But yeah, this is not you're not buying a different game, right? In fact, if you think about what we announced on stage at E3 relative to Windows and Xbox with crossplay and cross-buy, Xbox Play Anywhere, we basically announced you buy the game one time, you're able to play it on your Windows 10 PC or your Xbox. And because I really think about building your library of Xbox games and be able to play them wherever you are. That's kind of a core tenet that we've had inside the organization. It's what drove us to do backward compatibility last year. You should be able to play your games on the devices that will play them. When you sit down, you log in, you get access to your library, download and play. And we'll think about Xbox One family exactly the same way.
Yeah. So I guess then you kind of have that next pillar or that next tier up, I guess, or alongside Scorpio, where it is literally the PC.
That's right.
And this is where the approach gets even, I guess, maybe complicated is not the word. I mean, you're offering a lot of options for people. As someone who's already built a pretty substantial PC, I get to a point where I'm like, okay, great. Like it's great to know that I can play those games at these resolutions on this monitor, and like really get the performance out of it.
Yeah, that's you're the kind of customer that when we looked at and we got a lot of feedback from our console customers. A lot of them also have good Windows gaming rigs, and you end up with this weird decision where, okay, let me think of of a recent game. I'll take Battlefield, right? Because Battlefield come out on PC, it does well on PC. Yeah. So you end up making this decision of, okay, where are all my friends going to play? Right. Are they going to play over here on console? So then I'll go buy whether it's a PlayStation version or an Xbox version, or am I going to buy the version from Steam because all my friends, or in this case Origin, because all my friends are going to play on the PC? And I just think it's this weird fork in the, hey, let me guess where my friends are going to go play. Right. Now, we're not dictating Xbox Play Anywhere for third-party games. I don't have the power to do that. But we want to lead with our first party and say, hey, when a game like Halo Wars comes out or when a game like Gears comes out, you're going to have to pick on whether your Windows friends are going to buy it or your console friends are going to buy it. You just buy the game and know that you can play. And if you're sitting in front of your monster PC rig and you want to run with unbound frame rate and kind of go, if you happen to be me sitting my butt in front of the couch with a controller in my hand, I want to play on the console, I'll do that. And really make it about you and your choice on where you want to play and the games that you want to play, and less about this kind of decision on, well, I bought it over here, so I can't play over there.
Right. So that led to, there was a little bit, some of the details around that with Gears of War 4 seemed that maybe some of that kind of cross-play was limited to certain modes. It sounded like that it was just kind of a listing off the cooperative modes.
Yeah.
And not necessarily, I mean, I get mouse and keyboard,
That's
very
right.
different thing.
Yeah.
So is that something where, would a developer be able to, I guess, is the developer making those decisions themselves?
Yeah.
Or is that, okay.
Yeah, so you can only influence Mr. Rod Ferguson so much, but as somebody who plays a lot of games, somebody who's been involved in game creation for quite a while, I've said in co-op modes, the fact that your rotation speed might be faster than mine, I mean, like, who really cares?
Yeah.
We're playing together. We're all working together. And I might even say my bias would be, even in kind of casual competitive modes, if we just want to play together, just let us play together.
Right.
But I mean, game schedules and the design ideas of the creators, those things to me are the most important. So I want to put the tools in place with Xbox Live so that if a creator says, fine, keyboard and mouse controller, you guys just go and play, and you can Rocket League it as much as you guys want, or if they want to have real strict PvP competitive modes where it's either keyboard versus keyboard or controller versus controller, great. You guys go create those hoppers and go. I want to put the tools in the hands of the creators, and they'll make the decisions.
And it seems like in that case, like even in a case like Gears 4, though maybe they're not going to make this decision, it could be the case where, like, if you're using a controller on the PC, then you could get into those hoppers.
That's right.
Yeah,
and I think, as we work through this and we get feedback from customers on what they want to see, we're going to be responsive to that. We're at the beginning of a lot of things in trying to continue with our vision of your choice on where you want to play, who you want to play with. I like that we can even have the discussion as somebody who ships Shadowrun, and we're kind of working through all of those balance issues.
This has been the plan all along, right? It's like just sitting there on the Shadowrun.
What's it been, like 6 years?
Get it
or
back
something?
around.
We're getting there. We're almost there.
Every game must have a healing tree that grows. That's my mandate. Go.
I love that healing tree. That was one of the better features. Honestly, Shadowrun should have been an RPG and should have not been a shooter. But Shadowrun is an RPG IP. But we're gonna work. We're gonna learn. We learn by doing.